There are three types of happiness. The first one I like to refer to as the rock star sense of happiness, where they have riches and material things in their lives. Think of the lottery winner. We know for research that a year after they've won the lottery, their sense of happiness is no greater than baseline before they won the lottery. The second type of happiness is passion. That's where we perceive a flow, the intersection of aspiration and achievement. There's a book, and I cannot pronounce the Russian's name. The title of the book is Flow. And I have always aspired to be flow, okay? Getting into that groove of being able to aspire and to achieve, and then to aspire and to achieve. I learned from the research I was wrong. The third is purpose. That's where we are pursuing a higher purpose. I realize now, and I've been practicing now for 44 years. If we do the math, I'm 73 years old. I've been practicing for 44 years, and I realize that my purpose is not to help the person unhook from their emotional circumstance, because that drags me down. When it is that I'm dealing, I deal with compartmentalization as a professional. I have to separate my life from my home life, if you will. My wife is a psychotherapist. She practices every day in critical incident debriefing. She's fully aware of death and morbid issues, so we can converse ad nauseum about these things, but we choose not to. So the third type of happiness is purpose. As it turns out, type 1, the rock star sense of happiness, is the shortest lived. Examples are Kurt Cobain, Dave Leppard, Janis Joplin. What's similar about those three people? Yes, they all committed suicide. Passion, although meaningful, is longer lived than passion, continually elusive, but it runs only a second. Nobel Prize winners, Pulitzer Prize awardees. An example, think Hemingway. What happened to him? Suicide. The third, and probably why it is rarely achieved, but the most long-lived and leaves us in awe, are those persons who find happiness in person. Examples are Buddha, Gandhi, and our own Neil Armstrong. What did Neil have to say to us? One small step for man. And so he had a higher purpose. I have not yet seen the film. I have heard the reviews. It sounds fantastic, and it helps me to appreciate that higher sense of purpose, because through it all, his goal was, and he saw as a vision, the long term. Now, a question. How does luck figure into all of this, I'm typically asked? On a scale of 1 to 10, write down what your sense of luck is. 1 to 10. What do you propose that your sense of luck is in your life? On a scale of 1 to 10. I have always said that when I'm asked that question, I've always in the past said, my luck has my fingerprint on it. And I talk about my luck. Hey, I'm a lucky guy. I put myself down as an 8. And then I looked at the research. What did I find? What I have found about people who propose that they are high on the luck scale versus low on the luck scale. I'm sorry? Say it out loud. Happy. Higher they are, the happier they are? No. Higher they are, less happy they are. Okay. Well, turns out that the research, and you have to take into account a grain of salt with psychological research. You don't know where they may have gathered their numbers from. They may have been doing college sophomores, and they may not have been diverse, thinking about Desiree's presentation. They may have not been diverse in terms of their selection. But as it turns out, It was a scientific, psychological experiment that said, hey, we asked people beforehand, what is your sense of your luck? They put down a number, and then we evaluated them. We gave them a newspaper, and we said, we want you to count the number of pictures in the newspaper. And there was a specific number so that we could quantify that real easily. And we found that because embedded in the newspaper was a headline that said, you can stop now, there are 37 there are 37 pictures, and you get $100 for letting the experimenter know. And what did we find? Found that those people who had the lower number never saw the embedded article. The ones who had the higher number of luck saw the embedded article and realized their $100 right away. Why was that? Because people who perceive themselves as lucky look for opportunities. And they saw an opportunity, and that's what made them happy. So they looked out on their vision, and it wasn't something that they would know about beforehand. And we found that the luckier they felt, the more likely that they would seize positive opportunities.